When it comes to the Premier League, I suppose, the Leeds game will be the last game before the international break. How much do you need a positive result, just so that isn't lingering longer than it needs to?
Yeah, I mean, we were very close to getting that against Man United, and a team that were on the up curve, so we're frustrated, but on the other hand, pleased with the performance. So it's that kind of thing, you can't change the rules of football just on the fact that you're desperate to get another win, because of course you want that next win. But that being said, it's the old favourite. I always speak to the media, I've been doing it a long time, it's always like, when the international breaks have time to work the players, you haven't, because 12 of them go away, so you only work with so many of them. We've got injuries and all that, so it's great in a way. The players, I think modern players, especially if they're in Europe and they're playing internationals, the ones who can have a rest, no problem with that, a few days here and there. But there is work to be done, and we've got to just cram as much as we can into a very short space of time. And the weirdest thing with players is you're undoing two managers' work to put in your own, not undoing it in a bad way, you understand, just changing what they were thinking and trying to get it to work how you're thinking, and trying to educate them. We're having meetings where the players are injured, just so they can understand, because we're trying to fast track everyone into the way of thinking and the way of delivering. So, you wouldn't normally do that, but we're having to get the injured players in every meeting and every session to explain all the things we're thinking are going to be important over this season. So there's a lot going on.
You've worked with teams that have been chasing Europe, you've worked with teams that have been battling relegation. With Forest where they are now, what's the sort of shift between the two, especially mentally? What is the one thing you need from the team right now?
I think the biggest thing is all noses pointing in the right direction. It seems a simple thing, but we haven't got time for loads of opinions. It doesn't mean it's just my opinion, we just share it with the players. No, but we need direction. I think the players have got that, I hope, from myself and my staff. But mainly the joint responsibility. A manager's role, I've always thought I can only guide them, and I've explained this to the players. We're here to guide, support and give you direction. But inevitably it's players, that's the biggest thing. I love my players, I want to work with them, I want what's good for them, good for the team, is also good for me. So finding that connection with the players, it started very well. Thank the players for taking a lot on board and getting out there and delivering performances and working hard. So it's a process, it's not, I said last week, we've got magic dust. We do know our way around the division. That has to be the case from all the years we've been in it, all my staff and myself and a number of the players as well. So we do know our way around it, but you've got to make sure that every game you're ready. And the first thing is to make sure we're getting people fit, trying to keep injuries to a minimum, trying to get them fit in my way of working, all them things, tactically slightly different, changing the things we think can be effective. And then you put them out there, and then the whistle blows, and let's take it on, and that kind of mentality. But it's got to be relentless. I said that's the biggest change for us, is no matter what game comes along, it has to be a relentless mentality.
You know the history of this club far better than most. Forest Leeds, historical fixture, sort of like a throwback fixture. Is that exactly what you kind of need at the moment? I know it's obviously two teams sort of in a similar position down the table, but also just that kind of sort of old-fashioned atmosphere going into this.
It's for you guys to make up all them stories. It's for me to look at the honesty and the truth of what it is. It's another important game. Of course, there's a noise around different games for different reasons. I do know some of the history of the club, etc., etc. But each game has got to be a game that we go into to win. You can't get involved with all the outside noise. I try and remain that way anyway, as you well know, and I speak to the players about it. Forget about the outside noise, forget about social media noise and all that. Enjoy it if you wish to, don't if you don't. Don't believe it's all true. We have to concentrate on what's true, and that's us, the whistleblowing on what's in front of us, and that has to be steadfast in the group, relentlessly thinking the next one is the next big one. Not highs and lows, not this game is bigger than this one. They're all big games, and we have to look at each one with the intent and desire to go and win it.